Hi everybody. So I invited children and indeed their parents to send me in some questions over the last number of days on Twitter and on Instagram and through other social media channels, and I must say I've gotten quite a lot in, so we're probably going to have to answer these over a couple of days, but I just wanted to try and answer some of your questions today. So I have them here in front of me, so I'll work my way through them. I've got asked a couple of questions by Karen, by Richie and by Nadine as to why are supermarkets not letting children in. So from a public health point of view, there's no reason why this should be the case. I know supermarkets and shops are trying to carefully manage the number of people that they allow in at any one time to allow proper physical distancing and to respect public health guidelines, but there's no public health reason as to why anybody of a certain age group should be or should not be allowed in a supermarket. So I know in recent days a number of shops have modified their position over that, and I very much welcome that fact as well. So there isn't a public health reason why a child shouldn't be allowed in a shop. Obviously anybody in a shop of any age does have to follow the physical distance, keeping at least 2 meters away from each other, and you'll know now that we have guidance about wearing a face covering when in an enclosed space where you mightn't be able to physically distance. So that's the answer on that one. A lot of questions from children saying, when can we go and play outside together? What are the rules when we play outside? And do we have to stay apart? So Sinead asked me on behalf of her son Adam, who's 10. Adam wants to know if he'll be able to see his friend John for a play date on the PS4 soon. So the short answer is, at the moment you can only meet your friend outdoors. So yes, it is appropriate if a child can physically distance, and this is the key, and I suppose it'll depend on the age of a child, but if you can stay 2 meters apart and meet outdoors, it is okay to meet for a play date. Unfortunately the PS4 is indoors, I'm sure, so that's not allowed at the moment. You can't have somebody into your house who's from outside of your household at the minute, because we don't want to bring the virus, bring the germs into your household. But as we move through the phases, we'll be continuing to monitor that, and the more progress we make in the coming weeks in terms of weakening the virus, the better chance we have of being able to move forward in that regard. Chris asked me on behalf of his 9-year-old, can I meet up with 3 friends to play outside at a safe distance? And the short answer to that is yes, if it is safe. But it's really important that you keep that physical distance. So the 2 meters isn't an option. If you're meeting up outside for a walk, for a run, to kick a ball, you do have to keep that 2 meters. And the idea for that, and maybe the way I'd explain it to your son, is so that the germs can't jump from one person to the next. The closer we are, the easier it is for the germs in our body to jump from ourselves to our friend and to another friend and to another friend. If we do that, we're going to see this virus spread across our country again, lots of people getting very sick, and we need to try and avoid that happening as well. Melissa said her kids want to know, does meeting 4 people outside mean they go out in the street and interact with other kids on the street? So yeah, you can meet up with people outdoors. It has to be outdoors, and the social distancing has to happen as well. Tracy's again asking me on behalf of her son and his little brother about playing with friends, so I think I've answered that. And they're also asking, when can they hug their nannies and granddad again? And this question gets me every time, because I know how heartbreaking it is for grandparents who haven't seen their grandkids in so long, and even for grandparents who've never seen their newborn grandchildren since COVID-19. The answer is, though, it's not yet safe to hug, being quite honest, and we've got to be very careful in relation to this. So whilst now, if you're living within the 5 kilometres, you can meet up with someone like a granny or granddad outside, keeping your physical distance. And if we get to phase 2 of our plan in June, you'll be able to move forward and maybe go travel 20 kilometres. The issue of hugging, we're going to have to keep an eye on it, because what we don't want to do here is, in an act of love, end up actually making somebody very sick. But I know how much people are missing each other, and particularly kids missing their grandparents as well. Kieran asked me on behalf of Eber, age 7, when can I go out and play with my friends? So I was answering that as well. Either once you can keep the distance, keep the 2 meters. And when can I go to Kerry to see my grandparents? Well, again, at the moment we have to keep close to our house. And the reason for this is, every time we go outside our house, we risk spreading the virus. And the further we go away from our house, the more we risk spreading the virus further and further. So at the moment, you do have to stay within 5 kilometres of your house. We hope then to be able to go 20 kilometres and then beyond that. So hopefully, if we make progress over the summer months, you can begin to get further and further. And I'm sure you're missing your grandparents a lot. I know what I'm doing to keep in touch with my nana is doing FaceTime and phone calls like that as well. So I'm sure you're doing that too, and I'm sure they're missing you a lot as well. Amy is saying her children are asking, when can they play with cousins and friends? But she says inevitably when they're together they're touching each other, so there's no ways of keeping 2 meters apart. And I get this, and this is the challenge. The younger children are, I suppose, the harder it is to physically distance. So we do need to make sure at the moment that kids can only meet up outdoors, and if they can physically distance as well. Katrina Redmond has asked me again about the question about hugging grandparents, which I think I've answered, and also about when is it okay to go out and play again. And Sinead Donovan's 9-year-old again wants to know when can she have the play dates, because she's craving to see her friends. So I hope that the measure, and I know it's only a small step, that you can now go outdoors and meet up with a small number of people from outside your household. I hope that's helping our children a little bit. I hope it's helping all of us a little bit as well, but it is important we keep it outdoors as well. I mean, asked a question in relation to, will Santa Claus be able to come this Christmas, and will trick or treating be able to happen this Halloween? So that is a bit away. So absolutely, Santa Claus is going to come, and hopefully we have the virus in a much better place by then. And trick or treating, I'd be hopeful we could sort that out as well, because we have a bit of a way to go in relation to that. Quite a few questions from schools. A teacher called Shane has asked me on behalf of his 6th class students, is it possible for primary schools to go back for a week or two for the 6th class students before they go on to secondary school? Because they're obviously missing each other and it's a big milestone. Short answer is no. We're planning on getting our schools open for the new school year, but they won't open before that. I know what a lot of schools are doing is virtual graduations. I've been sending some messages congratulating 6th class students on finishing their primary school. I know a virtual graduation isn't quite the same thing, but unfortunately we do need to use the time between now and September to try and weaken this virus further, and then obviously have our schools reopen as well. Mark Fitzpatrick is saying that his 16-year-old Nathan wants to know that when schools do reopen, will it be possible for siblings of medically fragile kids to attend school online until a vaccine is found? And he's afraid that he could contact COVID and bring it into our home and make his brother sick, which obviously nobody wants to happen. These are all issues that my colleagues in the Department of Education and the Minister for Education will have to work through. But we'll obviously have to have very good guidance in place for anybody, whether they're going to work, school or anywhere else, if they're living with somebody who's medically vulnerable. So Mark and Nathan, I'll keep in touch with you on that, and we'll update you on that in the next couple of weeks as well. I have a question from Anya, who's 12, and again asking about 6th class getting back before graduation in September. So Anya, I don't think so. Congratulations on finishing 6th class, and I hope you're excited about going to secondary school. I know how difficult this has been. You were probably hoping to finish 6th class with a big celebration and a big party with all your friends, and this awful virus has meant that we can't be together. But I still hope you find some way of celebrating it. Like I was saying, I know a lot of schools are having their virtual graduations, and I do promise you this, there are brighter days ahead, and you will look back in time and you'll remember that time when you finished primary school where you were so brilliant that you helped save loads of lives in our country, and hopefully you'll get to see your friends and some guys over the summer months as well. Oisin is 10, and Oisin wants to know if school sports might be back before the year end. So we're bringing back some sports, as you know, so tennis clubs and the likes have reopened, and indeed you can kick a ball around outside, and maybe pitches are open, but not for training or matches yet. And as we go through our plan over the summer months, we're hoping to bring back more and more in that area, and we have a new plan now called Back to Sport, where lots of the sporting organisations are working on new and safe ways to play sport as well. And also a question about will you have to wear a mask in school? At the moment there's no guidance on that. We have given out advice that you should wear a face covering now if you're going into public transport, a bus or a train or the Lewis or something like that if you live in Dublin, but we look at that in relation to other settings in the weeks ahead as well. I'm being asked about Charlie is 7, and Charlie said he wants to know, do I find my job hard at the moment? Well, Charlie, I find my job really hard at the best of times because it's a really challenging role, but I think it's extra important at the moment because I'm working with really brilliant people, lots of super people who they're working so hard to keep people safe, to keep people well, to save lives, and I'm really proud to be a part of that and to get to work with all of these people. But you know what I'm particularly proud of? I'm particularly proud of you and your friends and your family and everybody across this country who are washing their hands, coughing into their elbow and not into their hand, trying not to touch their face, keeping their surfaces in their house clean, and staying apart, even though it really sucks when we have to miss our friends and stuff. But you're doing that to keep other people safe. So thank you so much for all that you're doing. So my job is tough, but I know yours is as well, because it's a really tough time for people at the moment as well. Somebody, I think this might be a typo, but I think it says Malcolm, is asking on behalf of a 5-year-old, when will the virus be gone? I wish I knew the answer to that. At the moment it looks like this virus could be with us for quite a long time. There's lots of really clever people in the world trying to work on vaccines and medicines so that we can make it better. But in the meantime, what we're trying to do is work out a way that we can safely live our lives while the virus is still here. And that's what we started this week, letting some shops reopen talking about some things we can now do outdoors. And if that goes well, in a couple of weeks we'll try and do a little bit more. So we just have to keep at it, slow and steady. So there are just some of the many questions that I've been sent in. I'll try and find some time during the rest of the week to answer another bunch of them. But let me say this, to the children right across this country, you are super. I am so proud, as are your parents, as are your teachers, as is all your family, and how amazing you've been. This has been a really tough time. It's been a really tough time for everyone in the country, but I'm conscious that for you it's been a tough time too. Maybe you're missing school, you're missing friends, you're missing sport, missing things that you normally used to do. But I want to say this to you, you're saving lives, you're doing an amazing job, and if you keep listening to your mom or your dad and keep listening to the doctors, we're going to make sure we keep you safe, and there are going to be better days where we can do all those things we miss again. So thanks so much for listening. Thank you very much for sending me your questions, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye bye.